Today, we are diving into a leadership model called the empathetic strategist. It's a fresh take on solving a problem that so many leaders, and especially women, know all too well. That impossible tightrope walk between being tough and being liked. Let's get right into it.
You know this feeling, right? It's that classic leadership dilemma. There's this constant pressure to be decisive and strong, but without getting slapped with the harsh label. Or, on the flip side, you try to be supportive and collaborative, but then worry you'll be seen as a pushover. This is the core tension we're going to unpack today.
And this leads us to something that's often called the leader's double bind. It's this incredibly tricky balancing act where you're caught between being seen as effective and being seen as likable. It almost feels like the better you are at one, the more you lose points on the other. So what happens is that leaders feel like they're being forced to make a choice, a false choice, really. It's like you have to pick. Are you going to be the demanding boss who gets amazing results but maybe alienates the team? Or are you the super friendly colleague that everyone loves, but who maybe lets standards slip a little? Well, this model says you don't have to choose. In fact, you shouldn't.
Okay, so how do we solve this? Well, that brings us right to the core principle of the empathetic strategist. And honestly, it's a surprisingly direct and powerful solution to that whole double bind we were just talking about.
And here it is. This is the heart of the whole idea. Be strict at work and be empathetic to the people. It's not about picking one lane. It's about becoming a master of both at the same time. This simple phrase is the foundation for everything else we're going to cover. So let's break down what each part really means.
First up, let's talk about Pillar 1, being strict at work. Now, I get it. The word strict can have some pretty negative vibes, right? So it is absolutely crucial that we get on the same page about what it means in this context.
So when we say strictness here, we're not talking about being rigid or mean or inflexible, not at all. It's really about three things: clarity, quality, and fairness. It's about building a system where every single person on the team knows the goal, knows what great work looks like, and knows they'll be held to that same high standard as everyone else.
And in the real world, what does this look like? Well, it's about setting goals you can actually measure. It's enforcing deadlines and quality standards consistently. No playing favorites. And this is a big one. It means giving direct, constructive feedback that genuinely helps people get better at what they do.
All right, now for the other half of this powerful duo. Pillar 2, being empathetic to people. This is the piece that makes sure those high standards we just talked about are met in a way that's actually human.
Empathy in a professional setting is really all about understanding. It's not about taking on everyone else's emotions or solving all their problems. It's about taking a second to understand the context they're operating in. What motivates them? What's getting in their way? It's about seeing them as a whole person, not just a name on an org chart.
And this is a perfect snapshot of what that empathy looks like in action. It means listening, not just to respond, but to actually understand someone's perspective. It means acknowledging the effort people are putting in, especially when they face a challenge. And maybe most importantly, it means being the kind of leader who steps in, offers real support, and helps clear the path so your team can succeed.
I can practically hear you thinking it right now. Hold on, strict standards and deep empathy? How in the world do those two things go together? Aren't they completely opposite? And you know what? That is a totally fair question. And the answer is really what makes this leadership model such a game changer.
This slide is everything. They aren't opposites. They actually supercharge each other. Think about it. Your strictness, your high standards and accountability, that's what delivers results, creates clarity, and makes things feel fair. But it's your empathy that builds the trust, loyalty, and resilience your team needs to actually hit those high standards, especially when the going gets tough. One without the other is just incomplete. But together, they are absolutely unstoppable.
Okay, so the theory is solid, but how do you actually do this? How do you build your own strategy around this? Because it's not about flipping a switch between strict mode and empathy mode. It's about weaving them together into one seamless leadership style. Here's a fantastic way to think about it, as a cycle. Step 1, you set a crystal clear high standard. That's your strictness. Step 2, you take the time to really understand the person who has to meet that standard. That's your empathy. Step 3, you hold them to that standard fairly and consistently. And step 4, you support them as a human being while they work to get there. It just becomes this continuous, powerful loop.
And what's the whole point? What's the big prize at the end? It's creating a culture where you don't have to choose between getting great results and treating people well. It's about building an environment where high performance and deep, genuine respect for people aren't two separate things. They're the very same thing.
a place that is both incredibly successful and a place people actually want to be.
The source material, which really zeroes in on the specific challenges women in leadership face, actually gives this ideal workplace a name. They call it a sustainable Womenomics culture. And it's a perfect description for a workplace with this balanced leadership style lets not only the leaders, but their entire teams thrive for the long haul. So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't whether you should be strict or empathetic. It's about how you're going to be both. Think about it. What is one small thing you can do tomorrow to set a clear standard while also showing you understand the person who's in charge of meeting it? How are you going to start balancing those scales?